Hey guys, here's another news story from news.com.au, so it's an Australian news site, and they're normally very quite left-leaning, so we'll see what this has to say, and I'll see if I can pick some of it apart. Okay, Donald Trump has escalated his war of words with the Democrats, labelling ongoing impeachment efforts as a coup. It comes days after the US president quoted a Fox News contributor warning of civil war should he be impeached and removed from office over allegations he asked Ukraine to investigate his political rival Joe Biden. Now, first things first, I believe there is a coup going on, not just in America, but look at Boris Johnson in the UK and look at the UK Parliament. They just don't want to do what the people want them to do. I believe the media have turned on Morrison over here in Australia, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard Salvini was out of Italy and the migrants are back in or something to that effect. I'm not sure if that's true either, but that was just another news thing I was looking at. So, okay, so far I believe, yep, there is a coup. It's happening. There's more than one going on at the moment, I believe. To investigate political right. Okay. The allegations, he asked Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. They already were investigating Joe Biden and his son. And Joe Biden had $1 billion to give them in aid, foreign aid. And he says this on camera himself. I've seen the actual footage of it. And he said that he threatened to withhold the $1 billion in aid if they didn't sack the prosecutor who was going to prosecute his son, who was investigating his son. And then he said, and what do you know? The guy got fired. So Joe Biden bribed them, threatened them. As I learn more and more each day, I'm coming to the conclusion that what is taking place is not an impeachment, it's a coup, intended to take away the power of the people, their vote, their freedoms, their Second Amendment, religion, military, border wall, and their God-given rights as a citizen of the United States of America, Mr. Trump tweeted this morning. And there's his tweet. In April, Mr. Trump slammed Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election as an attempted coup, saying it was like something that would happen in a third world country. Over the past year, he has also tweeted quotes from Republican Representative Pete King, former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, former CIA officer Brian Dean Wright, and Fox News hosts Sean Hannity and Maria Bartiromo, using the word coup. I hope I said that correctly, guys. Mr. Trump is facing the most serious prospect of impeachment since he took office over the July phone call with Ukraine's president, which became the subject of a secret CIA whistleblower complaint. Okay, that whistleblower. It was second-hand information. He hadn't heard the call himself. So what they're allowing here is hearsay, which is very wrong, guys. Really wrong. A former advisor to Mr. Trump earlier on Tuesday described the scandal as far worse than Richard Nixon's Watergate. The former president resigned in 1974 before the House could impeach him. Nixon was a patriot, law professor J.W. Verrett said on CNN. Yeah, well, I wouldn't... Maybe not of all the crazy things he did, he never would have accepted help from a foreign power for his own personal interest in election, particularly one that could compromise the US strategic interests. This is much worse, and I think momentum continues toward impeachment. Now, this is the guy who's talking on CNN, so I don't know. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't believe anything on CNN. One of Mr. Trump's staunchest defenders, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he would have no choice to consider articles of impeachment if the House approved them. Okay, now this is interesting. What I've heard and what I've seen is if Trump is impeached, that means there will be a trial. Then all the people who want him impeached will have to take the stand. And from what I've heard, they will turn on each other and it will bring the whole House down. Yeah, they'll have to be... I think they'll be found out. The whole thing... It's going to blow the whole thing wide open, guys. If they do impeach Trump, and I think it might come to that, if it does, then this could very well be something that's sort of planned, and to turn it round, instead of Trump being accused, then what's going to happen is it's going to bring it all out that it was actually the Dems, and publicly. So, okay. But House and Senate Republicans have also raised questions about the unidentified whistleblower who Mr. Trump has demanded to meet and the circumstances around the complaint coming to light. According to The Federalist, a number of Trump allies separately wrote to the intelligence community Inspector General on Monday demanding answers about recent revisions to the whistleblower complaint form, which removed the requirement for first-hand evidence of wrongdoing, guys. So now they are going on hearsay. I'll take hearsay. This is ridiculous. The whistleblower stated that he was not a direct witness to most of the events described. There you go, he says it himself, guys, but instead relayed information obtained from officials and media reports? Oh my goodness, you're joking. Something Mr. Trump and his allies have used to discredit the complaint. Yes, well. And this involves Australia too. You'll see where it's coming in. Iowa Republican Senator Chuck Grassley on Tuesday broke with his colleagues, however, defending the whistleblower and saying the lack of first-hand knowledge did not invalidate the report. Yeah, well, in the court of law it would be. This person appears to have followed the whistleblower protection laws and ought to be heard out and protected. We should always work to respect whistleblowers' requests for confidentiality, Mr. Grassley said in a statement. Yeah, right. Not when it's like second-hand information on hearsay. Come on. Complaints based on second-hand information should not be rejected out of hand, but they do require additional legwork to get at the facts and evaluate the claim's credibility. I'll say. So you're now taking more time up just to now validate this rubbish. And I also saw the transcript of the phone call that Trump was on asking for the Ukraine president to pick up an investigation on Joe Biden and his son that they were already doing before he was told by Biden, or blackmailed, or told to shut up, or told to fire the prosecutor, or they wouldn't get their $1 billion in aid. What does it sound like to you? Late on Monday, the ICIG issued a rare press release addressing questions about the complaint form revision, which was first highlighted on Twitter by researcher Stephen McIntyre and reported on by the Federalist last week. Mr. Trump had seized on that report, which suggested coordination in the intelligence community, tweeting a link over the weekend and writing, "Wow, they got caught. End of witch hunt now." On Monday, he wrote, "Who changed the long-standing whistleblower rules just before submittal of the fake whistleblower report? Drain the swamp." And this is what they do, guys. They make up rules as they go along. That is the deep state. In the lengthy 3-page statement, the ICIG admitted that the form was changed after the whistleblower submitted his complaint, but said it determined it was both urgent and appeared credible. Well, apparently not, guys. According to the ICIG, the whistleblower filled out the original form and in fact checked 2 relevant boxes, one stating that I have personal and/or direct knowledge of events or records involved, and another stating other employees have told me about events or records involved. And that's George Papadopoulos claims he was a victim of Australian, UK and US spying ahead of the presidential election. The ICIG explained that the old form contained incorrect information, although the form requests information about whether the complainant possesses first-hand knowledge about the matter about which he or she is lodging the complaint. There is no such requirement set forth in the statute, the statement said. In the process of reviewing and clarifying those forms, and in response to recent press inquiries regarding the instant whistleblower complaint, the ICIG understood that certain language in those forms, and more specifically the informational materials accompanying the forms, could be read incorrectly, as suggesting that whistleblowers must possess first-hand information in order to file an urgent concern complaint with the Congressional Intelligence Committees. This week, Australia was dragged into the mess after it emerged that Mr. Trump had personally phoned Scott Morrison to push him to help Attorney General William Barr show that Mueller investigation had corrupt and partisan origins. And it did. Alexander Downer, Australia's High Commissioner to the UK, sparked the FBI's 2016 counterintelligence probe into the Trump campaign after he relayed details of a London meeting with campaign aide George Papadopoulos to the US. So George Papadopoulos told Downer this, and Downer, they just in a pub one night talking, and then this became an investigation from nothing, from rumour. Mr. Trump first flagged he wanted to get to the bottom of Australia's role in May, telling reporters he had declassified everything for Mr. Barr, and that I hope he looks at the UK, and I hope he looks at Australia, and I hope he looks at Ukraine. Not long after, Australia's US Ambassador, Joe Hockey, wrote to Mr. Barr offering assistance. The Australian government will use its best endeavours to support your efforts in this matter, he wrote. While Australia's former High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, I'm not saying the Honourable, he's not honourable. The non-honourable Alexander Downer is no longer employed by the government. We stand ready to provide you with all the relevant information to support your inquiries. And watch Alexander Downer go down. Labor has demanded Mr. Morrison explain the details of the phone call. I think Scott Morrison needs to be very clear about the circumstances around this phone call, what was said, and whether any agreement was reached in terms of assistance. Opposition leader Anthony Albanese told reporters in Sydney on Tuesday. Yeah, well, Albanese is a you-know-what. Release it all. Go on. Former Labor leader Bill Shorten called for Mr. Morrison to release the full transcript. Prime Minister Morrison got a very warm, indeed special reception from President Trump, he told reporters in Adelaide, because he's jealous. Mr. Morrison needs to clean up the perception that perhaps a special reception was returned for special favours done. Look, our media is against Mr. Morrison, and that's the only reason I think anyone should give him half a chance. Mr. Albanese this morning again called for the PM to give straight answers rather than dismissing the issue. The Prime Minister needs to make a full statement and not say this is just gossip, not give one of his usual prevarications that we see from this government, he told reporters in Queensland. Ducking and weaving this Prime Minister, he's loose with the truth. Now, guys, as I was saying, Mr. Morrison is being put down by all the press at the moment. Everyone's having a go at him and making him look bad to the Australian people, and I believe that's for a reason. It's up to us to hold his feet to the fire, guys. We've got to hold him accountable. So it's up to us to make him do what the Australian people want him to do, not what the powers that be want him to do. And that's the bigger picture here, guys. So, I don't know. Give him a go, but see what happens. But make sure you hold him accountable for what he's doing. And, yeah, that's about all I've got to say for tonight, guys. Have a good one. I hope I picked it apart enough. It was pretty on par, except for the Labor in Australia, the Labor people, and George Papadopoulos saying, yeah, what he said, that he was tricked by the UK or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, guys, have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.